Hello students, how are you all? In last class you learned Gay-Lussac's law, Avogadro's law and ideal gas equation. The today's topic is Dalton's law of partial pressure. Now let us understand what is the Dalton's law of partial pressure by taking an example. I am taking a mixture of non-reactive gases. I am taking a vessel or a container. This vessel is filled with a mixture of non-reactive gases. So this is the mixture of non-reactive gases. Mixture of non-reactive gases. Suppose this mixture contains, the gas mixture contains three types of gases. Suppose this is the first type of gas molecule, and the number of moles of first type of gas I am labeling as N1. And the partial pressure of first type of gas I am labeling as P1. So it is a gaseous mixture. There is, imagine there is three gases present in this mixture. So the number of moles of first type of gas I am labeling as N1 and its partial pressure is P1. So partial pressure is nothing but in a mixture of gases, the pressure exerted by the first one type of gas, the pressure exerted by the individual gas. So in a mixture of gases, the pressure exerted by the individual gas is called as a partial pressure. The partial pressure is defined as in a mixture of gases, the pressure exerted by individual gas is called as a partial pressure. Next, imagine this is the second type of gas molecule, and the number of moles of this gas I am labeling as N2, and the partial pressure of the second type of gas I am labeling as P2. So N2 is the number of moles and P2 is the partial pressure of second type of gas. And it contains another type, third type of gas, the number of moles is N3 and its partial pressure is P3. Understanding purpose, number of moles of third type of gas is N3 and its partial pressure is P3. So the same thing you can understand by taking one general example. I am taking a balloon. So for a better understanding, I took a balloon. So this balloon is filled with air. So I am pumping air into this balloon. So whenever the air is pumped into the balloon, then the balloon is going to get bulges out. Whenever the air is filled in a balloon, the balloon is going to get bulges out. So the air contains mixture of gases. They are carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen, etc. So air is a mixture of gases, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc. Then here is a number of moles of nitrogen. Understanding purpose I am labeling as N1. And number of moles of CO2 I am labeling as N2. Number of moles of O2 I am labeling as N3. So it is a mixture of gases. In this mixture of gases, number of moles of one type of gas, that gas is nothing but nitrogen is N1. And the number of moles of second type of gas I am labeling as N2. Number of moles of third type of gas I am labeling as N3. Number of moles. Next, all these gases exert pressure upon the walls of this balloon. Walls of this balloon. As a result, the balloon is going to get bulging out. The balloon is going to get bulging out. So the pressure exerted by the nitrogen on the walls of this balloon, we have to call as partial pressure of that nitrogen. In this mixture of gases, the nitrogen gas exerts the pressure, carbon dioxide gas exerts the pressure, and oxygen gas also exerts the pressure. In a mixture of gases, the pressure exerted by the individual gas is called as a partial pressure. So pressure exerted by nitrogen gas alone I am taking as a P1. And the pressure exerted by the carbon dioxide gas, the pressure exerted by the carbon dioxide gas I am labeling as a P2. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide is P2. And the pressure exerted by the oxygen gas is P3. That is partial pressure of oxygen is P3. So partial pressure of nitrogen is P1, partial pressure of carbon dioxide is P2, partial pressure of oxygen is P3. So here is carbon dioxide exert the pressure upon the walls of the container, and oxygen gas exert the pressure of the walls of the container. Even nitrogen gas also exert the pressure upon the walls of the container. All the gases exert the pressure. So pressure exerted by the individual gas we are calling as a partial pressure. Then we have to find out the total pressure. So how do we get the total pressure? The total pressure is equal to sum of the partial pressures of all the gases. So partial pressure of nitrogen gas plus partial pressure of carbon dioxide gas plus partial pressure of O2 gas. So this is the total pressure. How to get the total pressure? The total pressure is the total pressure of a mixture of non-reactive gases. The total pressure of a mixture of non-reactive gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of the sum of the partial pressures of the all the gases present in a mixture. So total pressure is equal to partial pressure of nitrogen plus partial pressure of carbon dioxide plus partial pressure of oxygen. I think got what I mean. What is the total pressure? What is the partial pressure? The total pressure is nothing but pressure sum of the partial pressures of the all the gases. Easy we will get to total pressure. Partial pressure in the sense what? The pressure exerted by the individual gases. In a mixture of gases, the pressure exerted by the individual gas is called as a partial pressure. So come to here. So here is a total pressure. The total pressure is equal to sum of the partial pressure of first gas plus partial pressure of second type of gas plus partial pressure of third type of gas. If one more gas is there, we have to add a P4. If one more gas is there, we have to add a P5 and so on. So this is the total pressure. So by taking this, we can define the Dalton's law of partial pressure. So how to define the Dalton's law of partial pressure is the total pressure of the total pressure exerted by a mixture of non-reactive gases. The total pressure exerted by mixture of non-reactive gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of individual gases. It is known as Dalton's law of partial pressure. In simple words, total pressure is equal to sum of the partial pressures of individual gases. This is nothing but Dalton's law of partial pressure. So let us the definition. The total pressure exerted by mixture of non-reactive gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of individual gases. Sum of the partial pressures of individual gases. This is known as, or it is known as, Dalton's law of partial pressure. Dalton's law of partial pressure. This is the statement for Dalton's law of partial pressure. So let us write the formula. P total. The total pressure is equal to partial pressure of first gas plus partial pressure of second gas plus partial pressure of third gas. The total pressure is equal to partial pressure of first gas plus partial pressure of second gas plus partial pressure of third gas. Total pressure. If one more is there, P4, P5 and so on. Here is the number of moles of each gas is equal to total number of moles. Total number of moles is equal to number of moles of first gas plus number of moles of second gas plus number of moles of third gas. The total number of moles is equal to number of moles of first gas plus number of moles of second gas plus number of moles of third gas and so on. So this is the definition. Next, partial pressure. What is the partial pressure? The partial pressure is defined as in a mixture of gases, the pressure exerted by individual gas is called partial pressure. This is the definition of partial pressure. In a mixture of gases, pressure exerted by the one type of gases is called as a partial pressure. That is nothing but the pressure exerted by in a mixture of gases, pressure exerted by the individual gas is called as a partial pressure. I already explained if we take the balloon is filled with air, the air contains nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. The pressure exerted by the nitrogen alone we are calling as partial pressure of nitrogen. Pressure exerted by the oxygen alone is calling as partial pressure of oxygen. Pressure exerted by the carbon dioxide alone is called as a partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So total pressure is equal to partial pressure of nitrogen plus partial pressure of oxygen plus partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So this is the total pressure and partial pressure. Then by using ideal gas equation, P is equal to nRT. P is equal to nRT. So I want to find out the partial pressure of first gas. So how do you find the partial pressure of first gas? Partial pressure of first gas. Partial pressure of first gas. Then how to get the partial pressure of first gas? So PV is equal to nRT. I am labeling as P1V is equal to number of moles of first gas. So partial pressure of first gas is P1, its number of moles is N1. So P1N1 into RT. P1N1 into RT. Then we'll get P1 is equal to N1 RT by V. So this is the partial pressure of first gas, isn't it? Next, partial pressure of second gas. Partial pressure of second gas. Partial pressure of second gas, how to get? So ideal gas equation P2V is equal to N2 RT, isn't it? Partial pressure of second gas. Here is partial pressure of second gas. P2 is equal to P2 into V is P2V is equal to N2 RT. Here is a partial pressure of second gas is P2 and its number of moles is N2. So that I took a number of moles is N2. Then partial pressure of second gas P2 is equal to N2 RT by V. So this is the partial pressure of second gas. Next, partial pressure of third gas. I am writing here. Partial pressure of third gas. The partial pressure of third gas, how to get? Ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. So partial pressure of third gas P3 and number of moles is N3. Then P3, here is I am taking P3V is equal to N3 RT, isn't it? Then P3 is equal to N3 RT by V. So this is the partial pressure of third gas. Partial pressure of first gas, partial pressure of second gas. So this is the partial pressure of third gas. Next, the total pressure. I am rubbing it. We know that P total. So P total is equal to, what is the formula we have? Partial pressure of first gas plus partial pressure of second gas plus partial pressure of third gas, isn't it? Then P total is equal to partial pressure of first gas. What is the formula we have? N1 RT by V. N1 RT by V plus partial pressure of second gas. I am labeling as N2 RT by V. N1 RT by V plus N2 RT by V plus partial pressure of third gas. We can label as N3 RT by V. N3 RT by V. Then number of moles I am separating N1 plus N2 plus N3. So RT by V, RT by V, RT by V. I am taking RT by V is common. So N1 plus N2 plus N3 into RT by V. So this is equal to P total. So P total. So first case. So we have to calculate the partial pressure of first gas. For this case, we have to divide the partial pressure of the first gas by the total pressure. So on dividing P1 by P total. So P1 by P total. P1 is the partial pressure of first gas. So P1 by P total. So P total. P1 is equal to nothing but what? P1 what we have? N1 RT by V. N1 RT by V by P total. What is the formula we have? N1 plus N2 plus N3. N1 plus N2 plus N3 into RT by V. So RT by V will get cancelled. Then P1 by P total. P1 by P total is equal to, P1 by P total is equal to, then what will get N1 by n1 plus n2 plus n3, isn't it? So here is a number of moles of one gas, mole fraction of first gas, number of moles of one gas by total number of moles of all the gases. So n1 plus n2 plus n3. So number of moles of one gas by total number of moles of all gas is equal to mole fraction of the first gas. So number of moles of first gas by total number of moles of all the gases. So we are going to get a mole fraction of first gas. In the place of n1 by n1 plus n2 plus n3, you can take a p1 into x1 into p total. So this is the formula we have to use to calculate the partial pressure of first gas. If mole fraction is known and total pressure we known, we are able to calculate the partial pressure of first type of gas. And this is the first. Second one, partial pressure of second gas. To calculate the partial pressure of second gas, on dividing P2 by P total. P2 by P total. Then what we will get is P2 by P total. P2 by P total is equal to, then what we will get is N2 by, we will get what is the equation we have? N2 RT by V by N1 plus N2 plus N3 into RT by V, isn't it? RT by RT will cancel. Then N2 by N1 plus N2 plus N3. Then that is nothing but a mole fraction of second gas. So X2 is equal to mole fraction of number of moles of second gas by total number of moles, N1 plus N2 plus N3, isn't it? Then P2 is equal to P2 by P total. P2 by P total is equal to what we will get is mole fraction X2, mole fraction X2. Then partial pressure of second gas, P2 is equal to mole fraction of second gas into P total. So by using this formula, we are able to calculate partial pressure of second gas. By using this formula, we are able to calculate partial pressure of second gas. Next, partial pressure of third gas. Partial pressure of third gas. On dividing, third case, on dividing P3 by P total. P3 by P total. So what is the P3? P3 what we have? N3 RT by V. So P3 by P total is equal to, what we will write? N3 RT by V by N1 plus N2 plus N3, isn't it? N1 plus N2 plus N3 into RT by V, isn't it? Into RT by V. Then RT by will cancel. Then P3 by P total. P3 by P total is equal to N3 by N1 plus N2 plus N3. I am labeling as a mole fraction of third gas. So mole fraction of third gas X3 is equal to N1 by N1 plus N2 plus N3. N1 plus N2 plus N3. Then P3 is equal to mole fraction of third gas into P total. So this is the formula we have to use to calculate the partial pressure of first gas, and this is the formula we have to use to calculate the partial pressure of second gas, and this is the third formula. This is the formula we have to use to calculate the partial pressure of third gas. Here is I'm writing here is not visible. So X3 is equal to N3 by N1 plus N2 plus N3. So this is the partial pressure of third gas. Next, instead of representing first gas, second gas, third gas, so together, all together in a simple we can represent in general form general equation. So instead of labeling P1 partial pressure first gas, partial pressure second gas, partial pressure third gas, in simple, then we can write the partial pressure of any individual gas. I am labeling as Pi. So partial pressure of ith gas is equal to mole fraction of ith gas into P total. So this is the general equation. to calculate the partial pressure of a gas. Instead of first gas, second gas, third gas, instead of labeling the first to second, third, fifth, fourth, fifth and so on, simply we are labeling the general equation Pi is equal to Xi into P total. So Pi is the partial pressure of ith gas, Xi is the partial pressure, Xi is the mole fraction of ith gas, this is the total pressure. So here is a Pi. Pi is equal to partial pressure of ith gas. Partial pressure of ith gas. I am writing Xi here, mole fraction of ith gas. Mole fraction of ith gas. So this is Dalton's law of partial pressure. So what is the Dalton's law of partial pressure? The total pressure exerted by the mixture of non-reactive gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of individual gases. This is known as Dalton's law of partial pressure. Simple words, the total pressure of a mixture of non-reactive gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of individual gases. So P total is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3. So number of moles of each gas is N1 plus N2 plus N3. So in a mixture of gases, the pressure exerted by the individual gas is called as a partial pressure of gas. So partial pressure of gas we are obtained by using a ideal gas equation. So the partial pressure of gas general equation is Pi is equal to Xi into P total. Here is Pi is the partial pressure of ith gas, that may be first gas, second gas, third gas, fourth gas and so on. Xi is the mole fraction of ith gas, that may be first gas, mole fraction of first gas, or mole fraction of second gas, or mole fraction of third gas and so on. So this is Dalton's law of partial pressure. Next, Graham's law of diffusion. So before going to learn Graham's law of diffusion, first we need to understand what is diffusion. The diffusion is defined as the spontaneous mixing of gases against a gravitational force to form homogeneous mixture of gases is called as diffusion. So what is the meaning of this statement? Let us understand by taking an example. I am taking a perfume bottle. So the perfume bottle lid is opened in a room. Suppose I kept a perfume bottle in a room. The lid of the perfume bottle is opened. The fragrance of the perfume distributed throughout this room. So this is because of diffusion. If the perfume bottle lid is opened in a room, the fragrance of perfume distributed throughout the room is because of diffusion. You can take one more example, H2S. H2S is very bad smell. The bad smell of H2S is because of diffusion, because the bad smell spreads throughout that room because of diffusion. So diffusion is nothing but spontaneous mixing of gases, against gravitational force to form homogeneous mixture is called as diffusion. And another term we have to learn, rate of diffusion. The volume of the gas diffused in unit time is called as rate of diffusion. So how much volume of gas is diffused in unit time is called as a rate of diffusion. The rate of diffusion defined as the volume of the gas diffused in unit time is called as a rate of diffusion. First we read the statements. First I am writing diffusion. The spontaneous mixing of gases against gravitational force. To form homogeneous mixture. Is called diffusion. That is the statement relating to the diffusion. Next, rate of diffusion. Rate of diffusion. So the rate of diffusion definition is the volume of gas diffused volume of gas diffused in a unit time. Unit time is called rate of diffusion. Rate of diffusion. Rate of diffusion. So rate of diffusion I am labeling as R. R is equal to V by T. So R is equal to V by T. Here volume of the gas diffused in unit time is called as a rate of diffusion. Volume of the gas diffused in unit time is called as a rate of diffusion. Next, Graham's law of diffusion. The Graham's law of diffusion is defined as at constant temperature and pressure. At constant temperature and pressure, the rate of diffusion of a gas is inversely proportional to square root of their density. So square root of their density. First, write the statement. Graham's law of diffusion. Graham's law of diffusion. At constant temperature, and pressure, the rate of diffusion. The rate of diffusion of gas is inversely proportional to square root of their density. Square root of their density. It is known nothing but Graham's law of diffusion. Then R is inversely proportional to 1 by root D. So this is the mathematical expression. R is inversely proportional to 1 by root D. So this is Graham's law of diffusion. Now R1, R2 are the rate of diffusion and D1, D2 are the densities of two gases respectively. Let R1, R2 are rate of diffusion and D1, D2 are density of two gases respectively. So I am taking this equation, rate of diffusion is equal to 1 by square root of D. So this is the Graham's law of diffusion. Two different cases I am taking. First case is R1. R1 is equal to 1 by square root of R1, rate of diffusion is R1 and its density is density you can take as D1. So R1 is equal to 1 by square root of D1. The second one is R2 is equal to 1 by square root of D2. Then R1 by R2 is equal to, so what the formula you can expect here is square root of D2 by D1. So R1 by R2 is equal to square root of D2 by D1. Square root of D2 by D1. So this is the first formula. So if the densities are known, rate of diffusion of gas is rate of diffusion of one gas is known, we are able to calculate the R1. If you know the R2, we are able to calculate R1. Next, we know very well that density is directly proportional to mass. Mass is directly proportional to density. Already you know according to ideal gas equation. Another formula we have to derive. So what is another formula is according to ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. PV is equal to nRT. Then from this equation I am writing PV is equal to, in the place of N I am writing mass by molar mass. Number of moles formula, mass by molar mass. So here M is transposing here. Then we are going to Pm is equal to mass by volume into RT. So density is nothing but D is equal to M by V. In the place of M by V, you can keep D. Then Pm is equal to dRT. Here is the mass, molar mass. M is the molar mass. Molar mass is equal to dRT by P. If R is constant, T is constant, P also constant, then what we'll get is M is directly proportional to D, isn't it? M is directly proportional to D. Even the same relation we can identify using Avogadro's law. By using Avogadro's law also we can derive. So I'm taking here, according to Avogadro's law, volume is directly proportional to number of moles, isn't it? Then volume V is equal to K into number of moles, mass by mass of the gas by molar mass of the gas, mass by molar mass. So mass I'm transposing here. Then M is equal, molar mass I'm transposing here. Molar mass is equal to K into mass by volume, isn't it? So volume transpose here M by V. So M by V is nothing but mass by volume, nothing but density. Then M is equal to K into D. Here K is a constant. Then M is directly proportional to D. So look at that. So this is from Avogadro's law. Mass is directly proportional to density. Even by using ideal gas equation also we can derive same equation. So this expression shows that molar mass is directly proportional to density. Molar mass is directly proportional to density. In the place of density we can keep molar mass. So I'm taking this formula. R is inversely proportional to square root of D. So R is inversely proportional 1 by root D. In the place of D, I am placing M. Then what is the formula is R is inversely proportional, sorry, R is equal to 1 by square root of M. Isn't it? R is equal to square root of, R is equal to 1 by square root of M. Two different cases. So R1 is equal to 1 by square root of M1. Second case, R2 is equal to 1 by square root of M2. Square root of M2. Then R1 by R2. So R1 by R2 is equal to, what is the formula get? Square root of M2 by M1. So this is another formula to calculate the rate of diffusion. If R2 we know, M2 we know, M1 we know, we are able to calculate R1. So if R1, M2, M1 we are able to calculate R2. If rate of diffusion you know, M1 we know, we are able to calculate M2. This is another formula. Next, molar mass is directly proportional to vapor density. Molar mass directly proportional to vapor density. So here molar mass is equal to 2 into vapor density. This is the relation between the molar mass and vapor density. So molar mass is directly proportional to vapor density. Then already we know that the rate of diffusion is equal to 1 by square root of M. So in the place of molar mass we can take a vapor density. Then we'll get rate of diffusion is equal to 1 by square root of vapor density, Vd. So two different cases we can take. What is that? One is R1 is equal to 1 by square root of Vd1. Vd1, and the second case is R2. R2 is equal to 1 by square root of vapor density 2, second case. Then what is the form we can expect? R1 by R2 is equal to square root of vapor density 2 by Vd1. So vapor density of second gas by square root of vapor density of second gas by vapor density of first gas. So far what is the relations we have is R1 by R2 is equal to, in terms of densities, what is the formula we got? Square root of to d2 by d1. So square root of density of second gas by density of first gas. And in terms of molar mass, R1 by R2 is equal to square root of M2 by M1, isn't it? That is equal, in terms of vapor density, square root of Vd2 by Vd1. So vapor density 2 by vapor density 1. This is the first set, very important formulas. This is the first one. Now let us derive some other relations. So in that first one, some other relations are deriving. This is the first case, this I am labeling as first set. So R1 by R2 is equal to square root of d2 by d1, that is equal to square root of m2 by m1, that is equal to square root of Vd, vapor density of second gas by vapor density of first gas. One set of formulas. Second set, some other relations. Volume of gas diffused volume of gas diffused in a unit time. Volume of gas diffused in unit time. Then formula is R is equal to V by T, volume of gas diffused in unit time. So we can take two different cases. R1 is equal to, we'll get V1 by T1, isn't it? Then R2 is equal to, what is the formula we get? V2 by T2, isn't it? Then we have to take R1 by R2. So R1 by R2. R1 by R2 is equal to V1 by T1 into T2 by V2, isn't it? Then R1 by R2 is equal to, I am rearranging the equation, V1 by V2 into T2 by T1. This is the first formula. So volume of gas diffused in unit time. Second one, the distance traveled by a gas in unit time. Distance traveled by a gas in a unit time. Unit time. Then formula R is equal to dissimilar L by T. R is equal to L by T. Two different cases. R1 is equal to, so L1 by T1. R2 is equal to L2 by T2. Then what is the relation we can expect? R1 by R2 is equal to, R1 by R2 is equal to L1 T1 into T2 by L2. So nothing but R1 by R2 is equal to L1 by L2 into T2 by T1. So this is another relation. Next, third one. Number of moles of gas diffused in unit time. Number of moles of gas diffused in a unit time. Number of moles of gas diffused in a unit time. Then we can take R is equal to N by T. R is equal to N by T. Number of moles of gas diffused in unit time is equal to R. R is equal to N by T. Then R is equal to two different cases. R1 is equal to N1 by T1. Then R2 is equal to N2 by T2, isn't it? Then R1 by R2 is equal to N1 by N2. I am directly writing N1 by N2 into T2 by T1. So this is a relation we can expect. So this is in terms of number of moles of gas diffused in unit time. So all together we can take the set, the second set is R1 by R2. R1 by R2 is equal to, so first what we have is there is V1 by V2 into T2 by T1, that is equal to, next set what we have is L1 by L2 into T2 by T1. This second one. Third one is what? N1 by N2 into T2 by T1. This is the second set of relation. This is the second set. This is the second set. This is the first set. So all together we can take R1 by R2. R1 by R2 is equal to square root of d2 by d1. d2 by d1, that is equal to square root of m2 by m1, that is equal to square root of vapor density 2 by vapor density 1, that is equal to what we can expect, V2 by V1 into T2 by T1, that is equal to this one, L1 by L2 into T2 by T1, that is equal to N1 by N2 into T2 by T1. Look at, by combining these two sets. So these are the some formulas and based on the Graham's law of diffusion. So this is the Graham's law of diffusion.